When my name is erased from the face of the earth, your life will probably remain unchanged. Perhaps extinction has nothing to do with you, or maybe it's really nothing worth troubling you about. You may have never truly seen me, nor ever really known me. In animations, I am merely a blundering creature who broke into a cave by accident, letting out the snake demon and the scorpion demon. Just a name, a vague figure, a background character to drive the plot forward. Even if you once came across a clip of me on your phone, that 3-second pause was far from enough for you to see the 80 million years of history carved into my scales, or the long tongue curling up ants, guarding the forest day and night. You remember my fictional mistakes, but turn a blind eye to my real extinction. Humans talk eloquently about restoring and changing, but the truth is never found in empty slogans. It hides in the cracks of my scales, smashed by iron pliers, in the ripples when my baby falls into a boiling pot, in those medicinal powder which are really no different from your own fingernails. I am the Chinese pangolin. My existence was once a finely tuned part of nature's balance. But today, I want to ask, who did our 80 million years of survival ever offend? When the dinosaurs went extinct, my ancestors were already carving out paths underground, becoming one of the planet's few ancient migrants. Today, my scales can fend off a lion's fangs, but cannot resist the stranglehold of a burlap sack. Humans call us the guardians of the forest, but on this planet, there is no mammal more trafficked than us. Armor that took millions of years to evolve has ultimately become a curse of death. From deep within my burrow, I poke my head out, the scent of decaying leaves and earth mixed with a faint hint of my kind. At 2 years old, I'm only the size of a pineapple, yet I already carry the mission of reproducing the next generation. This is my first breeding season. Time hangs over me like a sword. I must find a female willing to accept me before the season ends. This half-mile-wide forest was once my home. I remember there used to be 25 pangolins here, but now, only my lonely tracks remain on the piles of withered leaves. Every step leaves behind a faint scent, a message for her if she's still out there, and a tiny mark I leave on this vast world. My nose can catch every wisp of hope on the wind, but the only answer is silence. In the past 20 years, over 80% of my kind have disappeared. Our species is now on the brink of extinction. If I want to carry on my bloodline, I must venture even farther. The black ants inside rotting logs are an irresistible feast for me, but every bite is a gamble with death. A cobra, cold and ruthless, brushes against my scales, tasting my scent. This venom is deadly, but it cannot pierce my thick armor. This is the shield gifted by evolution, my reliance for survival in this perilous world. Yet it is also a heavy shackle when I climb. I have wondered more than once, would climbing be easier if I did not bear such a heavy burden? But this armor was left to me by my ancestors through countless battles of life and death. To give it up would be to give up the courage to survive. Yet it is truly my shackle, making every step on the road to survival especially hard. Like so many things in this world, protection and restraint always go hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other. You can only carry this contradiction forward, unable to let go, unable to leave it behind. The cocktail ants in the trees are my favorite. I rely on my 16-inch-long tongue to catch them. 80,000 ants a day, the fuel that keeps me going. My ear and nose valves block the ants' counterattacks. Their resistance, though insignificant, reminds me that even the smallest creatures have the instinct to defend themselves. Night falls. A trace of a female's scent draws me into an unfamiliar bamboo forest. But in a cave, I encounter an angry masked palm civet. Its stench makes me uncomfortable, but it also makes me realize every life has its own way of survival, even if it's not a likable one. Fireflies float past burning candles, countless lights gathering into a galaxy. They will not live to see dawn, but in their brief brilliance, they light my way forward. As the glow fades, I find another burrow. It is quiet and hidden, enough to let me rest for the night. Curled up inside, listening to the wind rustling the leaves outside, I feel a rare sense of peace. Perhaps in this turbulent life, having a temporary place to shelter is already a great blessing. The next day, as the sun rises, I follow a familiar scent and find a female. Instinct drives me to approach, gently touching her back with my snout. But the response I hoped for doesn't come. She curls up even tighter. Turns out I arrived too late. She may already be pregnant. Hope, as brief as dew, vanishes with the morning sun. Perhaps that's what fate is. Encounters are by chance, but separation is the rule. Wandering on the edge of despair, I come across a tiny temple. Incense smoke curls upward, and prayers crash onto the altar, shattering into echoes of greed. They pray here for peace, but have no place for a creature struggling to survive. If the light of faith cannot illuminate the corners of greed, then even the most devout prayers are futile. Stumbling, I reach the edge of a protected area. These so-called protections are more like self-deceptive performances. So I drag my tired body beyond the boundary. Hunger strikes again. Termites in decaying roots are a superb source of nourishment. But just as I feast, the earth suddenly trembles. A huge black bear appears on the other side of the tree trunk. Its claws can easily tear through wood and me. In that moment between life and death, I escape with all my might, scrambling up a slender branch. Before I can catch my breath, the wind brings another scent, a female also about to miss her breeding season. She is the last ray of fate and my final hope. Without hesitation, I slide down the trunk and approach her. For the next several hours, we test and chase each other, our dance intertwined through the night. In this silent wilderness, it feels as if only the two of us are left, passing on the hope of life in the most ancient way. After mating, we burrow into a den together. As the stars shift and time moves on, I emerge again, and tightly wrapped around my tail is a baby pangolin. So small, so fragile, its scales not yet fully hardened, yet it carries the hope for the survival of our species. Watching it nestle against me, I am filled with mixed emotions. 80 million years, we have survived tectonic shifts and mass extinctions, persisting by sheer will. But human greed is like a sharp blade, constantly slicing away at our living space. Humans grind my scales into powder, claiming it cures diseases, yet it is no different from biting their own fingernails. Then they throw my young into soup, saying it brings strength, but it's nothing but a self-deceiving lie. My scales have become a show-off's token, my life a sacrifice for status. They do not realize, every scale is stained with my blood, every mouthful of soup soaked with my tears. They indulge in these empty remedies, forgetting that we too are a crucial link in the Earth's ecosystem. Humans shout about change, talk about making amends, yet they do not see this Chinese pangolin, curled in the shadows, waiting for an answer that may never come. This is the world's most absurd tragedy. We only want to live quietly, to burrow and raise our young, but even this humble mercy, humans are reluctant to grant. And finally, I want to say, the one who released the snake demon and the scorpion demon in the cartoon was not me, because in truth, I can't even dig through a mountain. So as my story fades into silence, I wonder, will anyone remember I was ever here at all? 80 million years of survival, gone in a handful of decades, not by the hand of nature, but by human desire and indifference. If a creature that withstood the age of dinosaurs can disappear so quietly in our time, what else might we lose without ever realizing it? Perhaps the greatest tragedy is not extinction itself, but being forgotten before anyone truly understands what was lost. Will you let me story end in the shadows, or will you remember and choose differently before it's too late?